Hey there, We Can't Wrestle podcast listeners. If you haven't noticed, we have switched our server to Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First of all, it's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple, and many, many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership, and it's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. So go ahead, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Highly recommended by me and everybody else here at the We Can't Wrestle podcast.
You're listening to the We Can't Wrestle podcast. Now it's time for our host, Nate Matson.
Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to the latest edition of the We Can't Wrestle podcast. Nate Maxon here with you, along with my brother Aaron.
Hey.
Aaron. Kyle Army is here.
Hi.
And
For all you
Archie
know,
Mitchell has returned to the We Can't Wrestle podcast.
You know, Nate Max.
We let him out of the box.
Yeah, the next time you put me in a damn Big Lots box and ship me off, it better be to somewhere I can get a damn Elite or Basic.
For poor Archie,
you
it
got
was
put
like
in a Big Lot box and shipped off. You wound up at your destination damaged.
Yes, I did.
for Archie, it was like being part of that scene in Seven. He just heard people outside going, "What's in the box?"
No, I felt
What's in
like
the box?
I felt like the Spirit Squad when they got boxed up and put the sticker go back to OVW. I was like, what the fuck did I do?
How many? You know what? This is funny. For all those people who are collectors, they go to Walmart and like they have the fucking pallets of the toys and everything else. I mean,
unpacked.
What's in the box?
But here's I'm the kind that I'll look through the pallet and I'll see what's on it. Mattel toy, Playhouse, Mattel, Fisher Price. It never says WWE. Other people go there and they find the biggest WWE box they can find.
Archie,
I find Fisher Price.
Archie and Aaron, you can both. Archie, because he's a big toy hunter. Hey,
Yes.
Check out Toy Hunting with Archie Mitchell, by the way.
Well, the season finale dropped today, Nate, so they're kind of late if they're checking it out
And
now.
Aaron, who is a toy stumbler, like I just stumble
Yes,
over the
he
shit.
does.
Well, I was going to say Archie because he's the hunter, and Aaron and I because we work retail, so we get the box before it hits the floor.
Yeah.
We know.
There's no
that,
more in the back. We know. We
Yes,
know, Nate.
odds are no, but is it or is it not the odds that when you open a box of Elites, you're going to get a double of either AJ Styles or Seth Rollins?
Oh, God.
Every time, it's always there's a double of AJ Styles or Seth Rollins in there.
And then there's just some John Cena in there. It's like, what the fuck, man?
Right. I didn't even know they made another John Cena. What is this?
The Cena figures, it's the same jorts every time. They just put a different hat on him. But yeah,
They all look like Jim Varney now.
Hey. You know what? Ernest Goes to Camp is one of the funniest movies ever made.
Oh no, I'm not knocking it.
The running joke.
John Cena looks like Jim Varney now.
The running joke with the fucking golf cart in that movie is so funny. Every once in a while, that golf cart just goes by on the screen. Oh man!
That's my life at work, man. I'll be working.
And a golf cart goes by?
No, they have this automatic scrubber that.
Oh, I was going to say, and a mark cart goes by.
No, they have this automatic scrubber that just does its thing. You program it, and it just goes.
Oh, it's one of those big computer, the robot things that go through the store?
Yeah.
Like
so
a
you'll be
Roomba?
working, and then it'll just it'll go through. And if you're standing there and it's going there, and you're like looking at something, it'll stop and go. Burp, 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 burp,
So it's basically
burp,
telling
beep
you to
at
move.
and get the fuck out of the way.
Me and Aaron used to work together at a certain place, and we decided that it would be fun.
I worked there, and Kyle just showed up.
Somehow I worked there for 5 years and didn't really do
I've worked there 15, so there you go.
I didn't do shit for 5 years. They fucking promoted me.
Did they pay you?
Yeah, they paid me.
That's all that matters.
They're going to make you a supervisor over people. I was like, sure?
Are you sure?
But no,
I don't have to be a working manager, do I?
But no, I didn't. And
I'm on one tonight, guys.
That's great. But no, me and Aaron decided it'd be funny to do the Ric Flair woo, like every time we pass each other. And before long, everybody started doing it. To the point where like the store manager would like open up his door and be like, "What the fuck is with the woo?"
Oh man! All right. Well, hey, welcome to the We Can't Wrestle podcast, the latest edition here. My compadres are here with me, and this week we are going to discuss Saturday night's main event from March 11th, 1989. And
we look like the shady bunch right now.
We do. We really do.
Did we or did we not all enjoy what was probably our childhood? You know, I mean, this is
1989.
1989
is the best year of professional wrestling history.
1997 is, but 89 is pretty damn close.
Oh, is there no theme in this world that brings as much joy as the second theme?
Yeah, it's pretty fucking close, if not the best.
Oh,
when I was a kid, 9, 10, 11 years old, and I would see that they preempted Saturday Night Live and the Saturday Night Main Event logo would come on, I would run around the house like it was Christmas. Because it was like, yes, we get wrestling, yes. And my mom would be like, well, all right, it's a weekend, stay up, do what you want. And then I'd be, so.
It was.
My favorite 80s scene was Mr. Belvedere, but that's okay.
I like Mr. Belvedere too.
You drop kick your jacket when you walk through the door.
No one cares.
It even ties to wrestling. See, you drop kick your jacket. But before we do
Bob
that,
Uecker was in there.
Anyone that anybody that listens to this show knows that I'm a humble man. I don't have passionate opinions about many things.
No.
But one thing I have to get passionate this week, because I want to say, anybody that's in our Facebook group saw I posted earlier this week, I have to say real quick on this show officially, fuck Joey Ryan.
Yes.
And I hope that Joey Ryan gets hit by a car. And I hope it's going very fast. And I hope that both of his legs are broken. And when those legs are broken, I hope that when they put him in the ambulance, I hope that the ambulance, I'm sorry for the ambulance driver, but I hope the ambulance also gets hit by a truck.
He jumped out.
Okay, good. I'm glad Herb is okay.
He's safe, yes.
And the ambulance rolls down a hill of some sort. Maybe Nate. I don't want it to explode. No.
Nate,
yes.
Hold on.
I'd like a herd of apes.
You're holding back. Just tell us how you feel.
I'd like a herd of apes then to show up and anally rape Mr. Ryan to where he gets syphilis in his eyeballs. I don't know how that's going to work, but syphilis in the eyeballs just sounds terrible.
If it's an ape, it might be able to be done. We got, we'll see how it works out.
I just want Joey Ryan.
Fuck that guy.
I just want Joey Ryan to get a non-fatal STD.
No, that's not good enough. And I'm not done with my rant yet. This fucking guy has the audacity.
Yep.
Has the audacity. You know, I have a wife and I have a daughter, and I take sexual fucking harassment very seriously.
Yes, sir.
And this guy has the audacity. And I had some people, when I made my post, say something of, wasn't he proven innocent? No, he wasn't proven innocent, because I want you to go back to the tweets that he made in early June or late June when he was first accused of this shit. He all but admitted it. Yes, right. He all but admitted it. And now he is suing his accusers for lost income. First of all, you fucking you're not even a good wrestler. I mean, the guy has anybody ever seen anything the guy's done in the ring or anything that's ever been remotely impressive?
I've watched a few Joey Ryan matches on Impact, not by choice, because I'm watching Impact. And his main gimmick is touch my dick.
Yes. And apparently that was his main fucking gimmick in the locker room, too.
Yes. So,
well, I got that off my chest. Now I'll let you guys talk. Sorry.
Don't worry, Nate, because I'm probably going to do the same thing on 60 Minutes or Less this week. That was a plan because it's one of the quick hits.
Normally, you guys bad. I'm gonna let Nate decide. Normally, at the end of the shows, I like to rant to sign us off. Would you like my rant now, or would you like my rant then?
Go for it.
Rant away, my friend.
Okay.
We'll get the rants out of the way and have the good time at the end.
Right.
Here's my fucking problem with this, is that every single fucking hashtag movement we've had has been fucking just tossed away for the next cool one.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Black Lives Matter, fucking Me Too. And now the one I thought that maybe would carry some fucking steam, the Save Our Children, Save the Children, has been fucking cast aside because it's not fucking cool anymore. Here's the thing. I'm going to say right now, if any of you motherfuckers out there listening are one of those dudes that thinks it's cool to touch a fucking child or fucking touch a woman, if you're the kind of guy who sits there and gets a woman drunk intentionally to take her home and take advantage of her, you are a worthless piece of shit. And so help me God, if I ever fucking see you in the fucking out in the streets, you got a fucking ass whooping coming at the hands of me.
Oh yeah.
It.
Oh yeah.
Because
especially if it's a child.
Fucking, you are a piece of shit. You're a fucking piece of scum.
I just don't understand how a grown-ass man, Joey Ryan's in his 30s. He's not exactly a young man. You know, Sammy Guevara, when he said what he said about Sasha Banks, he was a teenager. He was an idiot. But even then, it still doesn't mean that he was right, and I hate the guy for it. But Joey Ryan's a grown-ass man, and if you get your jollies by bothering underage girls because they came to you and said, I'm a wrestling fan, I like what you did in the ring, that doesn't mean that you should be able to take advantage of them, and that's horrible. I have 2 teenage daughters, and if I ever knew that someone touched them in the wrong way, I don't care who that person is, I would pummel them to the ground till I went to prison for life.
Well, and your fellow co-hosts would travel from Ohio to come help you, Archie.
Yeah.
Archie knows, Nate knows, Aaron knows. How many of these fucking meet and greets have you guys done?
Yep.
And how many of those fucking people have ever fucking taken advantage of the fact that they're
not one of them
talking to their fans? Not a single goddamn one.
Nope.
That right there shows you. I don't know why we've gotten to this world of disrespect where people don't fucking care about others, but here's a story for you. The other day I was out on the motorcycle. Okay? For all you guys you know, what happens when you see a funeral procession drive by?
You slow down.
You stop.
Yeah, well, you don't. Yeah, you stop so you don't make noise.
You feel good because you're not in it.
Well, that's fine. You stop and you fucking pull over and you show them respect.
Yep.
I had this fucking 18-year-old kid fucking get pissed and rev his engine and fly around and almost hit me. And I fucking down and I got off the bike and I fucking got in his face. And boy, he fucking changed his tune real quick.
Oh, yeah.
I don't take disrespect lightly.
I just don't understand, though. Okay, you were accused. You apologized to your accusers and said that what you did was wrong, and you understand the companies that said they no longer wish to work with you. And now you want to sue these women for $1 million because you lost $20,000 a month in income.
I want to just in case anyone is wondering, just an excerpt from I had his shit up here. So, you know, I'm never going to come into a battle unarmed.
Nope.
So blah 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 blah. Your fucking fake apology. So instead, I would like to take this opportunity to publicly share some parts of my private life with everyone. It is not a part of my life that I am proud of, but taking responsibility is important. Today, I must take responsibility for the way I behaved in the past, and I will do that right now. As I am sure you all are aware, several years ago, and all in a short period of time, a lot of things changed in my life. The dick flip went viral. I started traveling the world and living a rock and roll lifestyle, whatever. Mm-hmm. I came into contact with a lot of people, including women, and the truth is I did not always treat people with respect. And I will acknowledge that it was possible that I pursued people I thought were interested in me and invaded their personal space and made them feel uncomfortable in the process. So no, anyone that asked me Didn't he get proven innocent, et cetera, et cetera? Those are his fucking words, and he's a dirtbag. And when I saw that he was suing his accusers, man, I don't go through. Kyle, you've known me for years. Archie, you know me. I'm a mild-mannered guy.
Yep.
I am laid back. I get along with everybody. But when I saw that, I went through the fucking roof.
Exactly. Here's the thing. Look, I'm not going to sit here and claim I'm the toughest motherfucker in this world, but I'm going to say this. I doubt that Joey Ryan's fucking listening to this, will ever listen to our podcast, but if anybody knows him and likes to forward this to him, please go ahead.
Please.
Because here's the thing. I guarantee you, Joey Ryan, I'd love to have 5 minutes alone with you.
Without a doubt.
Fucking cage, and I guarantee you, buddy, the only dick grabbing that's gonna do is me grabbing your fucking dick, cutting it off, fucking deep frying it, shoving it down your goddamn throat, you worthless piece of shit.
Piece of shit, motherfucker.
God, there is a hell because, buddy, I'm telling you what.
Oh, he's got a front row seat. He's got a front row seat.
All right, that's enough of that trash bag. Yep. I just wanted to get that off my chest. Like I said, I don't usually get riled up about things. Listeners know that, but I was riled up about that. I mean, guys, I crap on Kenny Omega because I don't like him as a wrestler or anything, but I'm sure Kenny Omega is a perfectly fine human. I would never attack Kenny Omega as a person. Right. I will only ever most wrestlers. I'm only ever going to attack them as wrestlers because that's where I'm going to critique them. I'm not going to attack them as a person. But I put Joey Ryan and Aaron. I hope you agree. I put Joey Ryan in the class of like a Buck Zumoff at this point, or a Sweet Man. Just a piece of shit.
I hope Joey Ryan dies.
No, see, here's the thing of it.
That's the end of it. I hope Joey Ryan dies.
I've said this about John Cena for years. I don't like John Cena the wrestler, but John Cena the person is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Everything he does for charity, everything he does for children, everything he does for people outside of the wrestling community makes me love John Cena. He's actually a really cool guy. But for some reason, when he puts on the jorts and the T-shirt and the hat, it's boring for me. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean I don't. I will never attack him as a person. I'll attack him on his wrestling. Joey Ryan is a shitty wrestler and a garbage human being.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no reason to respect him on any level.
Absolutely.
Even if this wouldn't have happened, he would have been a 20 years too late Val Venus ripoff who was, resting on his laurels.
And look, I'm going to sit here and say this, and I know it might be controversial and it might rub people the wrong way, but in my opinion, Joey Ryan beats Chris Benoit.
I agree.
Because at least Chris Benoit had the fucking brain of an 85-year-old Alzheimer's patient.
Right.
Tapioca.
Yeah, apparently
the sense to kill himself.
Right. He didn't kill his wife and his child and then stay alive.
Right. Fucking Joey Ryan is doing this shit out of sound mind. He knows what.
Sorry, Nate.
I was just about to say.
I mean,
I think I'm gonna. No, I'm not going to. I think I'm gonna entitle this episode "Joey Ryan, Please Kill Yourself."
Oh my god! Featuring Saturday Night's Main Event.
Saturday Night's Main Event. Saturday Night's Main Event. The Joey Ryan featuring Saturday Night's Main Event. Yes. Yeah. You know what?
Dear Joey Ryan, kill yourself.
Miss Elizabeth, during the Saturday Night's Main Event, Miss Elizabeth had the hardest decision of a lifetime. Joey, the easiest decision of a lifetime.
No. You just turned the show off now. Joey Ryan, please kill yourself. Here's featuring Saturday Night's Main Event.
Oh, man.
One of them being my step-grandmother, and let's go. Horrible, wicked woman. But no, Joey Ryan, if you do kill yourself, please by all means, from us. I'm going to come personally piss on your grave.
No, how would he do it? How would he do it, though?
Hanging?
Do it.
Hanging?
With like his dainty socks.
Oh my God! So we have a show to do.
So you know what we'll do? We'll take our break. We usually do our opening segment and then take our break, have our main event.
That fucking shit, fucking Archie, that shit popped.
Yes,
Archie, man.
I thought I was gonna be the star of the show this week, but Archie,
that was so funny.
I had to come back with a bang. You
comes
sent
in
me
with a
away.
clinch. Yes.
Oh, that was so funny.
Archie's revenge. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll do our cheap plugs, and then we are going to cover the March 11th edition of Saturday Night's Main Event from 1989. Archie, good pull on this one. I really enjoyed this show.
Stacked card.
Yes,
Stacked
sir.
card.
And we lots.
It isn't a sleazy motherfucker.
Lots to discuss, and we'll be right back with the We Can't Wrestle podcast. All right, wrestling fans, we are back on the We Can't Wrestle podcast, episode 108, and we are about to talk about Saturday night's main event, March 11th, 1989. But before we do, I want to encourage each and every one of you to listen to what I think is the newest, hottest podcast in the wrestling podcast business, and that is the 2300 Pod.
Yes.
Every week, Aaron, Chad Austin from ECW, and myself review a new episode of ECW starting from the very beginning. And let me tell you, folks, you may have romanticized ECW. You may have those fond butterflies in your stomach for ECW, but these first episodes we are running through right now are
93's pretty rough.
Pretty rough, but
there's Stevie Wonderful. There's Jay Sully.
Awkward. I call him hostage video Jay Sully.
Don't forget about
the question mark Jay Sully. There's fucking the Cosmic Commander. It's pretty rough.
Don't forget about Sandman in a wetsuit.
In a wetsuit, yes.
As a surfer.
And the star of the show, Salvatore Balongo. But check it out. Man. Check it out this week. It is episode 4 of the 2300 Pod. It's the TCB, Taking Care of Business, Brutta episode. And if you want to know what that means, watch it. Listen to the show. Watch the episode. It's from April 27th, 1993 of ECW WWE Network, YouTube. But you will definitely enjoy the show. Chad is, of course, obviously an alumni of ECW, knows a lot of the guys we're watching on the TV show as we're watching it. And I think this show's going to be huge. And we want to thank everybody. Huge. We want to thank everybody who's here on the ground floor of the 2300 Pod.
You know,
and go ahead, Kyle.
Name? My baloney
What's
has
that?
a first. It's
Your baloney.
SAVDLR.
I was about to ask if anybody else had any cheap plugs. Kyle did a cheap plug for his baloney, so you're out. You've done your cheap plug.
You ruined our only cheap plug on your baloney. All right, that leaves it to me then, ladies and gentlemen. Every Sunday night,
Kyle's shoved his cheap baloney into a lot of things.
Why it's cheap?
That's why it's cheap. Exactly. If it was expensive, he couldn't use it that much.
It's cheap because it's tiny.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Every Sunday here on the We Can't Wrestle podcast Facebook group, Kyle, Army, and I do 60 minutes or less or more.
You know what the great thing about a small wiener is? I'm almost a lesbian, so lesbian.
I was getting a KD Lang vibe from you lately, so I wasn't sure.
A constant craving. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
So join us for 60 minutes or less. Kyle and I, sometimes Nate jumps on. We talk about the week's word of wrestling. This week we'll be handling Monday Night Raw through Friday Night SmackDown.
Are you guys going to talk about, hey.
Yes.
Yes. I'm sorry. I was sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to try to watch some WWE. But then I saw Randy Orton putting on night vision goggles.
Now, see, you didn't like that part.
And I just said, fuck it, I'm done.
Yeah.
I
didn't think it was that bad.
Spoiler alert. As well as they did for Clash of Champions, boy, they dropped the fucking ball.
Raw was bad. Bad.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to it on 60 Minutes or Less. But also joined the Asylum. We've got, after this airs, we will have already been past our life and time of Road Warrior Animal. We're going to celebrate our fallen brother who passed away last week.
But that being said, you can join the Asylum and still go back and view that. So.
Yes, you can. And if you want to check out the podcast, which Nate will probably have up by next week, you can listen to it if you don't want to watch it. Next weekend, we have Aiden English. We also have Arn Anderson, Demolition, and Scott Hall coming up. Terry Reynolds coming up, but please don't mention New Jack.
Mark my word. I said it on 60 Minutes or Less, and I mean it. I'm getting Arn Anderson to say that Aaron Maxon's list.
I promise you it will be said.
What are you going to say?
I'm gonna have Arn Anderson tell you that your lists suck.
Well, Arn Anderson is a man of...
Hey, Kyle.
A man of honesty and integrity, and he would never say that. He's not a liar.
I also want you to have Arn Anderson say, Aaron Maxon, I don't know you.
But I love you.
And I will say this also, Archie mentioned two guys that I want to put over for the virtual.
I don't know why there's so much hate.
Put over for the virtual asylum.
Have I ever projected hate towards anybody?
Yes.
Kyle.
Now, go ahead, Archie.
I'm projected hate towards Kyle.
I'm going to point you to.
Have I ever projected hate towards anybody that didn't deserve it?
You hated on Kyle's baloney 3 minutes.
Have I ever projected hate against anybody that didn't deserve it?
Poor fucking baloney. Okay, listen.
Back on topic.
I want to put over something for the virtual asylums coming up in the future, and not to demean any and not to diminish any of the future ones coming up. But Aaron will attest.
Kyle's the only fan behind him.
Aaron will attest to this. Guys, you have to do a virtual asylum with Demolition.
Definitely.
When I met Bill Eadie and Barry Darsow, number one, they were two of the cool. It was so funny. Either Aaron or I, or maybe both of us, had on our "We Can't Wrestle" T-shirts, and Barry Darsow's like, "We can't wrestle." What's that about?
Fuck, that's a
at first he didn't want to. He thought it was something demeaning, and then we explained to him it's our podcast and we call it that because we're not workers, so we can't wrestle. Oh, and then we were cool then,
right?
I will tell you this, guys. Demolition Axe, Bill Eadie, down to earth. He spent what, Aaron? Like at least 10 minutes with us, just discussing.
He asked. He said, "Where are you guys from?" And I said, "We're from Van Wert." And he knew where the fuck that was. he had never been there.
Half the time, we don't even know where that is.
He had never been there, but he knew where it was and talked about it and explained that like he was like a teacher in that area.
Wow.
And yeah. The dude was. I'm not going to take it off my wall because I have it hung up. He signed my magazine.
This is an audio show anyway, so they can't see
it. Well, Kyle's got his black ass up here right now. That is.
That's his chair.
But yeah, Demolition was cool as shit, man.
So most definitely check that out, and any of the virtual asylums if you want to meet your favorite superstars of professional wrestling. We have not had a guest yet that has been unaccommodating, that has rushed any of the fans. Everything is copacetic, and it's been a really good time and a great experience for not only the fans but the wrestlers who right now need that source of income with the lockdowns and the social distancing and all that garbage. And just something that that I think is a good thing for everybody involved, the fans and the wrestlers alike. So definitely check out the Asylum.
I've asked David Gold, and I don't know why. I think we have to sign a petition here in the We Can't Wrestle podcast. I urge you guys to ask David Gold in the Asylum that Nate and I are both admin on to get Terry Funk, Shane Douglas, and Sonny in the virtual Asylum. Sonny may have to come in live from prison, but I'm sure we can get her a webcam in there.
I'm sure they got the Zoom in the prison. So. But yes, definitely, ladies and gentlemen, check out the virtual Asylum, and let's not forget World Championship Customs.
Yes, and the Nerd Closet.
And if you are, as Aaron would say, if you are not a member of the We Can't Wrestle the We Can't Wrestle Facebook page.
Why the fuck not?
Why the fuck not? And those of you that don't know or don't care or haven't been paying attention or didn't listen to my little blurb on 60 Minutes or Less this past weekend, the reason you haven't seen me live is because I caught myself a little bit of a ban for a month because apparently I'm an evil person. But anyway, haven't been able to go live. Well, coming up in the next week or so, I'm going live. And there will probably be some We Can't Shuffle. And also in the group, we are going to have a contest, and we're going to get that group to 400 members.
Yes.
And if we get that group, if we get the We Can't Wrestle Facebook group to 400 members, one of the prizes that I have to offer, and of course, I'll let Archie run the randomizer for me because that's your gimmick, Archie. You're the randomizer.
My dick in a box.
But it's going to be. I actually have
one of the presents. Yes.
I have a replica Ring of Honor World Television Championship belt that I'm willing to give away to one of our members if we can hit 400 members. And when I announce the contest, we'll get the parameters and everything. But just to let everybody know, that's coming up. If you listen to the show and you're not a member, or if you listen to the show and you are a member, invite somebody.
Right.
You'll also with me, and I promise you can order. You don't have to get off the dollar menu at McDonald's. I'll get you a Big Mac. Don't worry about it. If that's what you so choose.
Kyle's going to send you some Mickey D's. You hear what we're saying here, folks?
But
we got merch too, right?
Speaking of Nate not being able to be live, if you have missed him, and on the off chance that he gets, let's face it, he's probably going to get banned again. But
right,
you can find Nate Maxon on the Motley Soup. They just went live, and they were playing Drunken Checkers.
And it was fantastic, guys. I laughed for an hour straight.
If we don't mention that podcast, I get thrown in divorce.
I'm not going to get my buffalo chicken dip, and then I'm going to be mad.
Can I ask a question?
What?
Not a question. Can I say something real quick about the We Can't Wrestle podcast? Nate?
Yes.
Don't we have merch?
We sure do. Teespring.com, We Can't Wrestle podcast. There is merchandise. There is, if you want to be part of Kyle's Sleeveless Army, there is the Sleeveless Army t-shirt. There is the Aaron's List is the Best t-shirt. And there is, I believe, an Archie Mitchell, it might be a figure hunting t-shirt. I don't know. Actually, my beautiful wife and co-host of the Motley Soup designs these shirts. She designs these shirts.
She came up with a shirt for me.
We're working on it. Yes,
we're working on it. Tell Kendall I said thank you, and that is
well. Amazing. I appreciate that. And if you people, if you discuss buckets, get on there and order a shirt. When you order the shirt and you put your money down, eventually in the mail you get a shirt.
That's how it works? Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Damn it.
You know what? Hey,
that was the least well thought out pitch ever.
Wait a minute. I've been flopping my money.
It was the greatest pitch ever.
Wait a second. I've been sending my money in and not getting anything in return. This sucks.
You're doing it wrong.
I know.
But thank you.
This is bad.
I am someone East. People don't know this, but I am. I have an idea. I want to make you a logo for the toy hunt. It's going to be a picture of you, a cartoon of you, character with a safari hat. Instead of it being grass that you're looking over, it's going to be a pile of of AJ Styles.
AJ Styles.
And magnifying glass.
I love any logo anybody does for me. The one that I have right now was made by Mike Zika. I'll just show it to you guys real quick. If you want to improve on that for season 5, go right ahead. You know what? Welcome to.
And Archie, I'm going to send that to you.
I will definitely use it when we start season 5 in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, heck yeah.
And hopefully season 5 is not as AJ filled for you, or the rest of us, quite frankly.
It wasn't that bad of a season. My car broke that I couldn't do the last 3 episodes.
That kind of puts the kibosh on toy hunting.
Yeah. Someone's asked me, like, well, you said your son has a car. I'm like, it's a BMW 4-door. I can't get in and out of it that easily. They're like, what's the big deal? I'm like, I get in and out of the car 18 times while toy hunting. That's hard. I'm like, I'm not going to do that.
All right. Well, shameless plugs are out of the way, and it is time to talk about a moment in time that I really enjoyed. There's very little bad to talk about on this show.
I agree.
There's a lot of bad to talk about.
Saturday night's main event. We're going to March 11th, 1989. We are in the build-up to WrestleMania 5.
Yep.
We are in the midst of one of the greatest stories the WWF ever told.
The Mega Powers just
I put that on here. I put here on my list. Sorry, guys, I don't want to talk over yet.
But you are.
I am. The Mega Powers Explode is in the top 5 greatest wrestling angles of all time.
Oh, definitely.
Of all time.
Well, and I talked about it earlier about how, like, for Saturday Night's main event, like, it's so nostalgic. But think about it. Like, the theme for the Royal Rumble or the theme for WrestleMania Survivor Series, you just hear, like, the first beginning of it, and you know exactly what's coming up. And I miss that so much.
Absolutely.
Because, you just know what the Royal Rumble theme was. You knew what WrestleMania theme was. And
the show, watching Saturday Night's main event back in the day, like we were kind of alluding to earlier, it was super cool as a kid because you're staying up late. Right. Yes. Yeah. And it only came around once every 3 or 4 months.
Right.
And
if you were that kid that couldn't stay up super late because the way they programmed it, like, you got to see Hulk Hogan.
Right.
The way they programmed it. So
I put this at the end of my notes, but since we're kind of elaborating, I don't know what the fuck Nate just turned into.
Don't talk about things that people can't see.
Anyway, I put this at the end of the notes. I'm going to say it now. Saturday Night's main event is the perfect wrestling show.
Mm-hmm.
It's an hour and a half with commercials,
and
they have 5 matches. 4 of them matter. 1 of them doesn't.
And it's always the one at the end because that's when everybody's gone to bed.
And they promote 2 stories throughout the show. Like, it's the perfect fucking show.
Right.
Like, every wrestling show should be Saturday Night's main event.
And what's crazy about it was not only that, but it also, like, even if you had just tuned in to Saturday Night's main event, you had an idea of what was going on.
Oh, yeah, they recapped everything.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't just dropped in and been like, the fuck? Like the main story of this show is, which side is Miss Elizabeth going to be on?
Right.
Well, and before we get deep into the show, that's one of the things I want to bring up is, like I've discussed on the show numerous times, this is why I think that even though at the time we all loved living through the Monday Night War Attitude Era, that is what killed wrestling. Because or what killed what we love about wrestling, because it became, instead of you get to see Hulk Hogan once every, you actually wrestle. I mean, you saw Hulk Hogan on every TV show,
right,
in some form or fashion. But to watch Hulk Hogan wrestle, you had to come watch Saturday Night's main event, or you had to come get the pay-per-view.
Yep.
Now, as great as he is, because you guys know, I think Drew McIntyre is fucking fantastic.
but he's on every week wrestling.
Exactly. I see my champion wrestle every single week.
And now apparently he's starting his own open challenge, so that means we get to see the title defended every week.
Yes,
and it's not how a title should be defended.
Exactly, and it doesn't have that. Then that's one of the problems that the Attitude Era brought. Is it you hot shot angles?
I don't just think that it's the Attitude Era. But also Brock Lesnar brought a black cloud over wrestling of not having the champion on TV for months. So it kind of hurt the product, and now they're trying to give fans what they want, which is the title there.
I appreciate the fact of the territory days where it was like, ladies and gentlemen, Ric Flair is going to be here on the 18th, and you do not want to miss the end.
Even if he's wrestling Rufus R. Jones.
Right.
You're going to get to see. Or you're going to get to see Andre the Giant's going to be here.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, on this show, Jesse Ventura and Vince McMahon opened it up. And let me ask you guys this. You got to pick. Gun to your head. Right?
Okay.
Gun to your head. You got to pick.
Okay.
Jesse Ventura and Vince McMahon, or Jesse Ventura and Gorilla Monsoon?
Ventura and Monsoon.
Yep.
As much as I like Vince, Jesse overpowered Vince. And that's why I like Monsoon, because they were two separate entities. It wasn't just Jesse and then Vince chiming in.
I'm going to be the dissenter here. I enjoy Vince and Jesse together much more. Not much more. I enjoy Vince and Jesse together more. And I guess the reason for that is that in the respect of Vince and Jesse, Vince almost let Jesse bust his balls, whereas Gorilla would push back. I mean, if I think of Gorilla, I guess I'll put it this way. If I think of Vince McMahon and a commentating partner, I think of Vince McMahon and Jesse Ventura. If I think of Gorilla Monsoon and a commentating partner, I think of Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan.
Of course.
So I give the nod. I give the nod to Vince on this one.
You're absolutely right. You changed my mind.
I think you're right. I think you changed my mind too. Okay, so I'm going with Vince and Jesse then.
I'm smart.
Nate, you argued great. Nate, you should have been a lawyer in that regard.
I can see Airbud. Yay! Yeah, you guys remember the Jerky Boys?
I can bring two of my friends.
I can bring two of my friends. Yay! Jerky Boys, baby.
Crank Anchors.
That was Jerky Boys.
Yeah, that was Jerky Boys. Crank Anchors. Crank Anchors was the
Crank Anchors was
double it.
That's what that was. What?
Double it.
Yeah, double it.
That was my favorite one. You guys remember Crank Anchors?
Yeah.
Not to get on a tirade, but Crank Anchors, they had this guy, and he would want a painting of himself on anything, and it wouldn't even be a painting. It would just be anything. Like he would be like this. He'd be like Archie, like he'd call. Archie.
Hello? Yes?
How much will you charge me to mow my 40-yard lawn?
$500.
Double it.
That was
fucking cracked me up every time.
And didn't that show have puppets?
Yes.
Yeah. No matter what.
You know what?
No matter what on that Crank Anchors, that dude was just like, double it.
Aaron,
Puppets.
Yeah.
I have to admit you were right.
Is it Crank Anchors?
Airbud was not Jerky Boys. It was Crank Anchors, because once Kyle said puppets, I was like, it was a puppet. Yeah.
It was a puppet.
He's like, I can bring Airbud.
Yeah.
And they'd call Airbud. He'd call
you got Airbud?
The theater. and he'd be like, hey, how much is the Airbud? Like $2.
Double.
I only have $4. I have a friend. That's $4. I can bring one of my friends. Yay!
I can see Airbud. Okay.
Anyway,
so we start off Saturday Night's main event talking about Elizabeth having to make the decision.
Cut that out, please.
having to make the decision of a lifetime in one of the greatest stories the WWF ever told.
Can I say my opinion?
Yes. Go right ahead.
Vince McMahon and Jesse Ventura.
So we all agree.
Yes.
I like
you all agree with me.
Yes.
Well, they all agree with me because I wrote it down and I asked the question.
For a very actually one of the things that was a kind of out of the ordinary about this show that I noticed
that the audio sucked.
Yeah, back then the WWF, like Vince was so meticulous about the audio, and him and Jesse sound like they're calling in on a fucking phone landline.
Everything, all the audio sucks. The music sucks. Vince and Jesse suck. The interviewers suck. It's fucking terrible.
I was only able to hear Hogan's entrance music. I heard nobody else's entrance music. I was like, did they not use it in 1989? What's going on?
I was going to ask you guys, was Saturday Night's Main Event stuff, was it actually, because I can't remember, but was it actually like live or like live to tape, or was it?
It was live to tape. It was basically they filmed like Superstars and Challenge and all that shit, and then they would film these matches in it.
Yeah, the only two times it was live was the only times it was live was on a Friday night, actually, when they did the main event with Hogan and Andre, which was the highest rated pro wrestling program ever. Yep. And then they did the live one in '90 with Hogan versus Savage with Buster Douglas as the special referee.
Yep.
Because the audio, like it really sounded like they were like somewhere else.
Now, what I will say, Kyle, is other than the intros of the show, from what I understand, other than the intros of the show, Vince and whoever was with him were doing the commentary live.
Really?
But the show itself was not live.
It didn't sound like it was live. It sounded like it was,
No, the audio sounded like it was taped in a goddamn shed.
Right.
So that's why I was asking.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Vince McMahon. That was the way to, you know what I mean? It was like, what? Mm-hmm. So, but aside from the audio, this was the only thing that really upset me before we get into any matches. There wasn't a whole lot of finishes on this show. For a stacked card,
right, and I think that can kind of be blamed on the fact that it was the build up to the pay-per-view show,
right?
It was go home,
mm-hmm.
Right. But I mean, like you expect Brutus Beefcake to be putting over Rick Rude,
right?
You know what I mean, and that being our opening match, which it was actually great. I enjoyed the way Bobby cut that promo. Rude, and all Rude said was 3 words and walked off. That's all he had to do.
I was going to say, speaking of puppets, we have the greatest puppet of them all, fucking Brutus Beefcake fighting fucking Rick Rude. But Rick Rude, he was on something, man.
Yeah, he was spaced out. Out.
Well, see, okay, well, let me ask this. I asked you guys this question of, you got a gun to the head. You got to pick Vince or Jesse or Gorilla or Jesse.
Right.
Gun to the head. Right?
Uh-huh.
Got to pick.
Okay.
Brutus Beefcake. Better wrestler or better promo?
Better promo.
Better promo.
You're all getting shot. Because there's no good answer.
Well, yeah, I'm sure.
Listen. Brutus Beefcake said in his promo on this fucking show,
Bobby Heenan is like a hairdryer. He's full of hot air. Brutus Beefcake needs to die.
No, hang on.
Stop it.
No, hold on. Because fucking Ultimate Warrior talked about taking the fucking...
Well, Ultimate Warrior should die too, but he's already dead, so thanks.
Christ.
Look, the fact is that, you can shit talk fucking Brutus Beefcake, and trust me, we do, and he's a horrible wrestler.
I will shit talk Brutus Beefcake until the end of goddamn time.
I'm fucking disagree with me that he was not fucking over.
Okay, I will.
No, he was over with the fans. Yes.
Oh fuck yeah! And that
there was a period of time
that everybody in the 80s was on cocaine and Brutus Beefcake was popular because everybody was on cocaine.
Look, if everybody's on cocaine and Bruce Beefcake's on cocaine, then it fucking stands that they're going to understand what he's talking about.
We can all agree that the period of time Nate is talking about is not when he was the booty man.
No,
okay.
But there was a period of time from probably between WrestleMania 4 and WrestleMania 6,
yep,
where you could rank as the most over baby faces in the WWF, one Hulk Hogan, 1A Ultimate Warrior, 2 Jake Roberts, 3 Brutus Beefcake.
No, I agree with that.
And I agree. Brutus Beefcake was ranked.
He was ranked, and he was over, though. I mean, he sold merchandise. He got pops.
Whatever he was, whether he was over or not, they trusted him to be in the ring with Rick Rude and not hurt him.
And I'm not
get him over.
I'm not in any way saying that Beefcake was over with me, but he was over with that crowd. But what I wanted to say just a couple of minutes ago, just to comment on Brutus Beefcake's promo skills was, and I quote, he says he is the official barber of the WWF, not the official barber of the WWF. He's the official barber. Of the
Fuck that guy, man.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
I fucking hate him.
No, but what this show definitely made me miss, if anything, in wrestling nowadays, Nate, Kyle, Aaron,
was hangings.
No. The opening promos before the match.
Yes.
Having a guy like Mean Gene walking up to them before they got to the ring and going, Rick Rude, your opponent tonight says that he's going to cut and strike, and then you get something from the manager or the wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get that anymore.
Most importantly, a minute and 15-second promo,
right?
Not 20 minutes at the beginning of the show. Thanks a lot, Triple H, because Triple H started that shit.
Nobody was interrupting Rick Rude and Bobby Heenan like nowadays. If that would have been nowadays, he would have had 4 people interrupting him. Yes, we can hear you.
Mm-hmm.
Can you guys hear me? Look, I'm going to say this, and maybe I'm out of line when I say this, but I there's a line that fucking Bruce Beefcake says that I think is lost today in pro wrestling, where he's talking about, he's like, I'm going to add body to Rick Rude's hair, and Mean Gene's like, well, how do you do that? He's like, by cutting all the hair off.
That's perfect. That is Hall of Fame Beefcake logic.
Yes.
But here's the thing, though. Hang on. Let me finish. Let me give you my full train of thought. But here's the thing where it's missed today is he is making his promo fit his character.
Right.
Yes.
Whether it's horrible or not, that as stupid as it fucking sounds, but he is at least wrapping his promo up and around to what his gimmick is.
Right.
Parted.
So now we come into the Ravishing Rick Rude Brutus Beefcake matchup, which obviously Rick Rude
involved everybody.
Yes, the Rick Rude was the highlight of the match itself.
But before it did, though, Aaron, they actually had 15 good minutes of a back and forth classic. They didn't. Yes, they did.
No, they didn't. Rick Rude had 15 minutes of wrestling a drowning fish.
Well, then Rick Rude made that drowning fish look like $1 million.
I like the fact how they use Andre.
Yes,
because Andre is at that point, even though we're still, a couple years off from him passing and everything else.
Right.
Like, the fact is, bring him in. Let people see him.
Right. Let him sit on Brutus Beefcake like he's supposed to.
Seeing Andre in this state at this point, and obviously when I was an 11-year-old kid or a 10-year-old kid, I didn't know.
We didn't know exactly.
And as time goes on, seeing him in this state at this point, looking back on it now, is so sad.
Oh, it
because
is.
I mean, if you go back and watch Andre before about probably 86,
right,
maybe 85, And what got me to watching the old stuff is reading the autobiography or the autobiography. Yeah, Andre wrote an autobiography this year. The biography. Shut up! I had a beefcake moment. Leave me alone.
Well, then you're now the official barber of the Weekend podcast.
I'm the official barber. Reading the new Andre biography that's out.
Efficient barber.
Which is very detailed, and it got me to go back and start looking back at some of his old stuff, whatever I can find on YouTube from like the 70s and early 80s. That dude could fucking go, man. Mm-hmm. And now watching what I watched in the 80s as a fan, it's really sad because and not that he was an attraction,
because I liked watching him like run away from the snake and all that shit. That
I
thought Andre the Giant got face Jake the Snake over more than anybody else.
Oh, definitely.
So we got Jake involved. We got Big John Studd involved. So big schmaz to end this thing.
I'm surprised that the Warrior didn't get involved because the Warrior was involved in a feud with Andre at this time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm surprised we didn't get that iconic Ultimate Warrior music and have him help the baby faces. But Jake got the job done with the Snake. Andre jumped over the top rope. And I don't even think they called the match a disqualification. It just got thrown out because of everything that went on.
And they announced it.
Did they? And it was for Beefcake, right? Beefcake won.
Yeah, Beefcake. And I gave it 2 stars because of the aftermath. And I also wrote down that Brutus Beefcake is the Forrest Gump of professional wrestling.
Hulk Hogan was my best good friend.
Like all like all of these talented people are around this goddamn waterhead that is Brutus Beefcake.
Hulk Hogan said that these shoes would take me anywhere in life as long as I went with him. I followed him everywhere. No, but yeah, I agree with you on the 2-star rating, but it wasn't because of Rude or Jake or Andre or John Studd. And if you look, Nate, I'm sure you noticed this, Kyle, Aaron, I'm sure you guys noticed this too. Look at the flip-flop when John Studd was with Bobby Heenan and they did that $20,000 slam challenge at Mania, and now it was Andre the Giant with Bobby Heenan going up against a face John Studd. Look at the switch that went on there, and not many people see that.
Well, I understand that, and that was cool, and that's what I'm saying. Like, everything that happened
around was great.
Around this match was really good, but anytime you put Brutus Beefcake in a match, it just nope.
And to the John Studd thing, they were actually trying to head into that exactly what you said, Archie, a reversal of what happened with Studd and Andre before.
But Andre didn't make it to 5.
Well, John Studd
unfortunately didn't make it.
Well, It wasn't at this point. It wasn't that. It was he did not enjoy some of his payoffs, so he told them to go F themselves and quit. And then he was replaced on house shows with the Hillbilly Jim. So that's where that went.
What a replacement!
At this point, yeah.
Listen, Andre, we're taking you from working with a guy that you could see eye level with to the farmer over there.
From all intents and purposes, Hillbilly Jim is a fantastic human being.
No,
but not going to be the draw and attraction that a Big John Studd would have been.
Maybe Uncle Elmer would have been better, but I don't know. That's just me. What was our next match after this?
The next thing we saw. The next thing. What?
Go ahead, Aaron.
I was going to say we didn't see a match. We saw Jesse Ventura, interviewing Bad News Brown. And
Bad News cut a wow! What a promo by Bad News Brown.
I was going to ask. I just saw a child there. I just want to make sure I wasn't implying this or mentioning this.
No,
out of turn.
Apparently, Bad News Brown is implying that Miss Elizabeth was giving Jack Tunney blowjobs
Yep.
to.
Well, everybody in the locker room.
Whoa.
Who's Jack Tunney?
They say favor. He was giving.
Well, what was she doing? Polishing his shoes, Kyle?
Polishing something.
Yeah, I mean,
She was basically sucking Jack Tunney's dick to give the Macho Man a lighter schedule.
Wouldn't you?
right?
I would not.
Can I?
As much as I like the Macho Man.
Now, I have to interject something.
Miss Elizabeth
I
walked in.
ain't sucking Jack Tunney's dick for nothing.
No, I'm saying if Miss Elizabeth walked in, it's like, hey, Jack Tunney, and you're Jack Tunney, and it's like, I'm gonna suck your dick if you give Macho Man some. You'd be like, fucking.
All right, make it quick. Right? I mean, no, but
My snake was devenomized.
By the way.
Bad News Brown cut a hell of a promo, but I have to say something. Miss Elizabeth at this time was absolutely stunning. That monarch of the First Lady of Wrestling fit her perfectly. I mean, this was not the Elizabeth from WCW in '96. This woman was somebody different and was a lady and gorgeous.
You know what?
See, I would think that the Miss Elizabeth of '96 probably would suck some Tunney dick.
She might have done it to Bischoff. I mean, that was the storyline for a little while.
But no, like, what perfect heat for Bad News Brown,
right?
Sit there and say like, oh, Miss Elizabeth is not fucking pure. Like,
right.
She's like, of course those fans are like, fuck you.
Just as a side note, I wanted to say there was one thing lacking from this interview that I was kind of sad about.
Okay.
It was Bad News Brown, and it was the fact that in this interview he did not use my favorite of his insults of the fans,
which is
I like it when he called the fans beer-bellied sharecroppers. I always enjoyed that. He didn't use it. He didn't use that line in this promo, but probably because it was on NBC and not USA. But
right,
yeah.
And his lack of footage of Miss Elizabeth
getting funny with Tunney,
fucking Jack Tunney's cock.
But no, he delivered a promo that I that promo could never be delivered today. Forget about what he said about Elizabeth, but in general, he was as racist as they come, and it was great to watch that back because I don't think MVP could pull that off right now.
Aaron asked a question earlier in the show, and about the commentary teams, and I want to go around the horn and ask you guys. And I know that it probably didn't. One of the reasons it didn't work out was because of the story that they built with Hogan and Savage.
Right.
But I want to know general consensus in this time frame. Do you guys think it sucks that Bad News did not get a run with the title?
I don't think he would have fit well with the title because of what was going on.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. I know that he kind of got, because he was promised a title reign, and that's one of the reasons he got pissed and left.
Right.
And at this time, I know that's why it didn't work out for him, because he was working program with Savage. He was the guy working around the horn with Savage, and I think Bad News Brown.
I would have rather seen Bad News Brown as the Intercontinental Champion.
I would have loved a Bad News Brown WWF title reign. Even if it was 6 to 8 months, I would have loved to see a Bad News. I think at this time, as good as he was on the mic, as effective as he was in the ring, that guy exudes heel WWF champion.
No, for me nowadays, I think he could have made a great champion back then. But I just don't think that they would have passed over Hogan. Like I could have seen Hogan being the one taking the title off of him eventually, but I don't think they would have passed over Hogan to give Bad News and then let Hogan beat him. It just wouldn't have worked out that way.
Right.
So
I just wanted to get a feel, see if you guys thought what I thought.
Kyle, you still here, buddy? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm still here.
But no, here's the thing too. Hogan and Bad News, for what it was, because I mean they were on outside of the ring like for 20 minutes in this match.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a bad match. When Bad News leaves and goes to bring that shovel,
that was stupid in my opinion.
Yeah, but seeing Hogan stop the ref from counting and not wanting to win by count out, I mean, it added to the drama of the match.
I put the Bad News Brown going back, bringing out a shovel was fucking stupid and ruined this entire match for me.
Well,
we've come a little too far here. I wanted a couple comments I wanted to have pre-match for this show.
You're still going back to Liz sucking dick?
No, I'm going to. I throughout this whole show, because of the seriousness of everything, I have to give respect to Hogan in this show because he showed if you notice, he showed a much less cartoony vibe in this show and a much more serious vibe in this show.
Yes.
I want to kick somebody's ass. And the other thing I noticed, because instead of saying, let me tell you something, Mean Gene, during his interview, he said, shut up, Mean Gene.
Yep,
shut up.
Walked in.
And just a side note, this must have been the height of the steroid use because Hogan was at his puffiest during this time.
Even his head.
Yeah.
That's why he was mad.
Well, the one thing that I...
Shut up, Mean Gene.
Shut up, Mean Gene. And Gene was settled down with the roid rage. I don't want you to hang me with your weight equipment.
Please don't hit me with your helmet that has a fist on it. The thing that I... Go ahead, Kyle.
I know it's a spot for wrestling and for the fans, but like, has anybody ever fucking believed that when somebody's on the outside of the ring and you pull the top rope, that it would honestly make somebody flip back into the fucking ring?
Well, no.
It's springy, brother.
Those fucking ropes were not fucking springy.
Have you ever touched a wrestling ring? They're not springy. Not one bit. The thing that I found odd was Hogan questioning why Macho Man wasn't more upset about Liz being called a whore. You know what I mean? He's like, why is the Macho Man talking about Bad News Brown? And I'm like, dude, he thought you had lust in your eyes. He knows she's not pure. He's not going to battle for her honor. He just wants her in his corner.
Yeah, it's like he already knows you put it in her butt.
Brother.
Oh, Hulk Hogan put it in her butt. But Harry Boleyn did.
Like, I have decided that through this entire show, her name is Mistress Elizabeth.
I like it.
So the result of this match, quite interesting because it's not your normal Hulk Hogan finish.
No.
You know, it's they actually
it was like a knee.
Yeah, like they actually worked more Bad News' style match than Hogan's style match, right. Which and I know Aaron has said numerous times, you said your favorite Hogan match is the match with Harley Race.
Yeah.
And
it's a good match.
It is, and it is because they did not work a Hogan WWF late 80s style match. They worked a Harley Race style match. And that's why I actually gave this match like 3.5 stars because I thought, and I know we talked about the shovel thing. That was kind of goofy, but I thought overall,
stupid.
I thought overall this was a good match. I mean, Bad News even got to cut a promo on Hogan in the middle of the match, you know. I thought this was
because he went back to get his stupid shovel.
The reason that I liked this match, and I agree with you, Nate, is that it got Hogan over as not just a cartoon, not just a baby face. Jesse Ventura says it throughout the show up until this match. Bad News Brown is a street fighter. So it was Hulk Hogan lowering himself to a street fighter rather than the blue chipper that Hulk Hogan was supposed to be.
I'd rather see Hogan come out with the shovel.
Well, that's because he was going to bury him, but yeah.
But that's what I was going to say, too, to that point, is that it not only got Hogan's, going into WrestleMania 5 attitude over, but because they wrestled Bad News style match, it didn't diminish Bad News to another, guy jobbing to Hogan. It kept Bad News'
never
heat.
did anything with this fucking shovel.
No, well, that's because it's the WWF in the 80s, and I mean, it's NBC,
right.
and
Hogan,
I know, Aaron. It should have been.
All right.
Stop yelling.
Hogan. Aaron's pouting right now. Hogan. Bad news goes to hit Hogan with a shovel. Aaron is laughing right now.
He didn't try to hit Hogan with the shovel.
No,
he didn't even use it.
He goes to hit him with the chair. Hogan stops the chair and then hits Bad News with it, but Bad News is still holding it. And the referee looks around like, is this supposed to be a DQ? Or maybe he hit himself with the chair. I don't know yet.
I don't know yet.
The goddamn shovel was stupid.
It was cool looking, Aaron.
But they didn't do anything with it.
But
what
it's
supposed to do?
It's also 1989 WWF. What do you want?
Right.
God damn it! So now we have Mean Gene Okerlund interviewing the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, with Ted showing us that beautiful $1 Million belt.
And the vignettes leading up to that were phenomenal, of him going to that jewelry store and ordering it.
And when they finally
and he's with meat sauce.
Yep.
When they finally have it done and he looks at it and it's like glowing on his face, I swear to God, guys, Quentin Tarantino's a WWF fan.
Oh yeah.
Because when Sam Jackson and John Travolta finally look at what's in that bag, I mean that's the reveal of the $1 Million belt to a T.
Oh, definitely.
But anyway,
and Blue Blazer got an interview on this show,
yes,
and I don't remember a lot of times where Owen as the Blue Blazer got a lot of interviews.
I don't think that happened in the 80s, except for this one time during Saturday Night's Main Event.
Mm-hmm.
So in the late 90s, when he went back to being it, they gave him an interview, but not before then. And as he actually cut a decent promo.
And as everyone can possibly imagine, I mean, even though it was only about a 4-minute match, Ted DiBiase and Owen Hart have a fantastic match.
Unbelievable.
Ted DiBiase is easily one of the he's easily one of the best 5 heels in the business ever.
Oh, definitely.
For a number of reasons. Not only did he just exude that gimmick and go full bore with it and etc., but there are a few heels in the category in the air of like a Flair or a DiBiase or a Harley Race that gave more to their opponent regardless of their opponent's status on the card. DiBiase gives a lot to Owen here, and the biggest example of that for me is I think is it Survivor Series 90, where the Survivor match comes down to Bret Hart and Ted DiBiase, and they literally at the end of that match, that Survivor match, have like this amazing 6-minute wrestling match.
It's basically what he does with the Blue Blazer here.
Yeah, he gives that guy. He just sells for the Blazer here like he's fucking Ricky Steamboat or somebody.
Right. But
then he hits the power slam out of nowhere and pins him.
Yep.
It's great.
That was the one thing that blew my mind. I don't remember a time seeing Ted win a match without the $1 Million Dream.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, wow, what a finish.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Very good match. There's not a lot to... Oh, go ahead, Aaron.
No, go ahead and say what you're saying.
I was just going to say there's not a lot more to elaborate on here either, other than DiBiase looks good coming out of the match, and so does Owen.
It was the best match on the card, in my opinion.
Yep. Well, it's a tie. It might be a tie.
The tag match was great.
It was the match coming out is great. Something that I shouldn't say puzzled me, but is stupid in my opinion. And when I say it's stupid, it's because like, why? When I see something and I'm just like, oh man, I think this way. The commercial is for Burger King.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and Burger King goes, "We do it like you do it."
Then why should I go to Burger King?
Yeah, why the fuck do I need you then, Burger King?
Right, I'll make my own cheeseburger.
In my notes, it goes, Burger King, we do it like you do it. Well, why the fuck do I need you, Burger King?
I think
you're just going to make my goddamn sandwich the way I'd make my goddamn sandwich. Why the fuck do I need you?
That's good.
So fuck you, Burger King and Joey Ryan.
They changed it to have it your way.
Have it your way.
No, that's McDonald's.
No, that's McDonald's, Kyle. Kyle got into it like
ba-da-ba-ba-ba. We do it like you do it.
Sorry, I'm probably the only guy that was like watching this show being like, what the fuck, Burger King? But that's how I felt.
That guy got fired from the marketing department shortly thereafter. So now we get Mean Gene on the stage. I miss the stage interviews, guys.
Yes, I do too.
Mistress Elizabeth.
With Mistress Elizabeth, who gives...
She's had a wardrobe change, too.
Yes. And
the
gives...
dress from earlier was not good to get an interview with now.
She gives possibly the vaguest promo in wrestling history here.
Oh, Jesus, yes.
I wish I didn't have to make this decision. This is the decision I wish I didn't have to make.
No.
No. What? The only reveal that could have been better here is if she's like, actually, I'm into Bad News Brown.
Right.
I like that big black cock.
Listen, everything that Bad News has been saying is true. I'm with Jack Tunney now.
I like that medium-sized Canadian cock.
or full heel turn. I'm with Ric Flair. Wait, he's not with the company yet.
He doesn't even work here.
That'll happen in 3 years. Wait for it. No, that was the whole thing. I understand. It was a great build up to the reveal, but then the reveal is I'm not going to be in either of their corner.
Mm-hmm.
So thanks for wasting our time.
Yeah.
Liz.
I mean, I understand they were trying to add intrigue to the pay-per-view,
right.
But yeah, overall unsatisfactory reveal here by Elizabeth on Saturday night's main event. Then we get Savage out, Hogan out. Again,
Savage is wearing a crazy outfit, which I wish I could make that custom, but there's too many colors going
on. And like I alluded to earlier, Hogan very much selling this main event because he is so much more serious.
Yes.
Than he was about a lot of the stuff he was in the 80s and 90s. Very less cartoony, very more confrontational, and an actual fighter.
Situation.
Hogan's
the dick in this situation.
Oh, definitely.
Well, 1980s Hulk Hogan in the WWF, in reality, most of the time was the heel, even though he was the babyface. Like, in most situations, he was the dick.
Well,
it's crazy.
I was watching a show recently on YouTube. I've talked about it before. It's called Reliving the War. And this gentleman in the UK watches Monday Night Raw and Nitro at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
During an episode this week, it's Arn Anderson versus Hulk Hogan from WCW Nitro. And Hogan is choking Arn Anderson with his coat. And Bobby Heenan says on commentary, if Arn Anderson was doing this, you guys would be asking for his head on a silver platter. But because it's Hulk Hogan, it's okay.
Right.
And I went, wow, that really is how he was booked his whole career.
Mm-hmm.
He could be the shit-eating heel and not have to be worried about getting booed because it was say your prayers and eat your vitamins. But everybody else was a heel because they were going up against him.
Exactly.
Like, through this whole thing, Hulk Hogan is like he's like holding fucking Randy Savage to this whole thing.
Right.
He's like, hey, yeah, man, I'm gonna pick your old lady up and fucking thumb bang her in her butt. While you watch.
Why is it gonna be in the butt?
Because Elizabeth was classy, so you imagine the worst possible scenario.
Yeah.
Because, you know,
like to me, Elizabeth is like, hey, Randy Savage always put it in the P, but Hogan put it in the B.
I'm going to give you the future Ricochet, brother.
Yeah.
Kyle, what were you saying?
That's because fucking Hulk Hogan likes regular vaginal intercourse, and Hulk Hogan or Terry Bollea likes butt play. So
Jesus,
he likes it tighter.
Yeah, well.
No, but you mentioned Hogan was doing what he was doing with Elizabeth. 9 years later, it turned out to be true. When he was the NWO, he had Elizabeth, was torturing Randy Savage. All he was missing from saying was, "Brother, I did have lust in my eyes at WrestleMania 5."
Yeah.
You know?
He's like, I tossed that salad, man. That's all you need to tell her.
Like, oh, Hogan, she liked my Fu Manchu, brother. Then she said her butt.
She said my bold spot was better than yours, Randy.
It tickled her bung.
Another guy in this show that is I love the lead up to WrestleMania 5 here because two of my favorite 80s WWF characters take kind of a different turn, and that's Hogan. Like I said, he's more serious in this show. And another guy that's a lot more serious in this show is Bobby Heenan.
Pounding in the butt.
Well, Jesse Ventura mentioned, Vince McMahon mentions it at the beginning of the show. Bobby Heenan is in 3 of the matches tonight.
Yes, and his
family was huge.
He's got much more an intense and less comedic attitude in this show.
Well, of course,
and it's great. It's a great psychology to have to build to the pay-per-view. We get Bobby, Tully, and Arn with a promo. We get the Rockers with a promo.
I'd like to say something here. What they are doing in AEW right now with Tully and FTR, when I saw Bobby with the Brainbusters, it was like, wow. It was like deja vu because Tully it's the spitting image of what Bobby was doing with them on Saturday Night Main Event.
And it's true, but that is unfortunately, and I was going to make this point, the only similarity here.
Well, true.
Because this match,
can I say something real quick? And it's no point. Like, it makes no point on anything. It's just a comment. Shawn Michaels knows everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, if you understand what I'm saying, like, this guy knows everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, say what you want to say about the fucking Undertaker, okay? Who's fantastic. Say what you want to say about any of these guys, but fucking and I'll even put Bret in this too. But like Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart know everybody.
And I'll even say this, and
more so than Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels. Like, if you could crack Shawn Michaels' mind open and just ask him about everybody in professional wrestling, he'd be able to tell you.
He's worked with everybody.
Everybody.
And what I want to say about that is, and why he is my second favorite wrestler ever, right behind Savage. Honest to God, and Aaron, I know Flair's your guy. Have you ever seen a bad Shawn Michaels match?
Yes.
I can think of
really. I can't.
Vader.
No, it still wasn't bad.
It wasn't great though.
He was petulant. He was petulant during the finish part, but during the meat of the match, he sold for that guy like nobody in the world could sell for that guy.
True, but I mean, it wasn't Vader versus Sting. I'll say that. HBK versus Vader was its own animal, but it's not that I feel Shawn has bad matches. There are just a couple of that I wish he would have not been so brutish and antagonistic towards his opponent, in real life. The way he kicks Vader in the head, or the way that he, with Mankind, it just, if you're not melding with somebody.
Maybe Vader should have been.
Yeah. Vader was a monster. He should have been made out to be a monster. Wasn't his fault. But
I'll say, but when you look at WrestleMania 11 and that horrible fucking power bomb that he takes.
All right. I'm kind of playing Aaron right now because I'm being an antagonist.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been antagonistic to anybody.
I'm going to just completely skip over that. Kyle,
yeah.
Not to be contentious, maybe to be contentious. I'm going back to March of 95. I think it was March 31st of 1995.
Yeah.
I've got 7 foot tall. He's got a lot of charisma, but fuck is he clunky, Diesel.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Nash. He's my world champion. I've decided to put the rocket on this guy. There is not a worker on the planet on March 31st, 1995 that is going to give me a better match with this motherfucker than Shawn Michaels.
No, this is
Shawn Michaels went out there and he made Kevin Nash a world champion that night.
This is
now,
true,
yes,
but
Kevin will admit, yeah, Shawn fucked me around on that that power bomb, the fucking dickhead. But overall, I'm talking about the whole match, the meat of that match. That's the best match of 1995. That's better than Shawn and Razor at SummerSlam in 95. And that was Shawn literally working around Kevin Nash. Let's be honest. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying he might not be the greatest of all time, but I don't know if there's a guy. It's like Vince.
Oh, I'm not saying Shawn isn't the greatest of all time. You know how I am, but.
It's like Vince said. Vince said Shawn would fight me till the minute he went out that curtain, but the minute he went out that curtain, he would do exactly what the fuck I wanted him to do.
Right. And I'm not saying at all that like Shawn is not one of the best of all times. I'm saying that when you look at his body of work, even if it is the very end of the match, the fact is, in like what Archie had said earlier with the whole Vader thing, like he allowed his bullshit to ruin matches. Like, look at
it didn't ruin the match. It ruined a part of the match.
Yeah, but that's the part that people remember is him spazzing out on Vader.
That's the part that people remember in 2020 when shoot interviews have been stated and Jim Cornette's told the story. But in 1996, when I watched that Vader Shawn Michaels match, I didn't notice that.
Well, right, we didn't as fans, but.
And that's my point. And that's where, like, when I started off, when I said, Aaron, I know you love Flair, I think that the reason that I rank Shawn above Flair is I think that so many more times in his career, and this is not even remotely disparaging Flair.
See, Nate, you can disparage Flair all you want. Because
I'm not going to.
I like Ric Flair, but Ric Flair's not even my favorite wrestler.
Shawn Michaels would go out and have if Shawn Michaels was wrestling Diesel, okay, guy. And I know we're going off topic, and fuck it, it's my show. I'll do what I want.
WrestleMania 11, I would have rather seen, and I liked Shawn and Diesel.
That match was amazing.
It was amazing.
It's the best match of 1995.
I'd rather watch 1995 WrestleMania 11. I'd rather watch not Shawn, but I'd rather watch Diesel and Brett. That's cool.
I think that Shawn, and again, I'm talking about the match in the moment. That what Shawn did for Kevin in that match was what needed to be done for Kevin in that match. And that's what I'm saying. Like. And I love Ric Flair. We're going to do our greatest professional wrestlers of all time very shortly here in the show. And Flair's in my list. And quite frankly, Shawn isn't. Okay?
What?
No, he's not. And again, this isn't favorites. This is, I'm thinking bell to bell, and that's a whole nother topic. That's going to be a long ass fucking show because we're going to debate the shit out of that.
Yeah, I'm thinking about taking a week off of work. So,
but Flair always had a Ric Flair match. Shawn Michaels is the ultimate chameleon. Shawn Michaels never had a Shawn Michaels match. Shawn Michaels always had a match where it's Shawn Michaels and this other guy. And that's where I contest. And it's the same with Savage. I contest Savage and Shawn are the two greatest of all time. In my opinion. They're neither one of them are on this list I'm looking at, guys.
Jesus.
But because the lists I want us to compile for that episode are non-objective. They're literally non-objective. They're literally looking at the body of work and etc. But anyway, God, we got off on a tangent. Let's get back to Saturday Night's Main Event because I've been preaching about Shawn Michaels for 10 minutes. This is how tag team wrestling is supposed to look, and that's what I was going to say.
I agree.
I could watch the Brainbusters and the Rockers wrestle every goddamn week.
Yep. Absolutely.
And I'll even say this. I could watch the Brainbusters and the Rockers wrestle anybody every goddamn week because they were able to make their opponents look good and themselves look good without burying anybody in between.
And where this match was absolutely perfect was if you put this into context, at this time, now the Rockers had been in the WWF in '88. They had a very short run. The classic story where Vince said, those are nice boots. They're made for walking. And they made him leave, and he fired him.
Yep.
At this point, the Rockers had literally maybe about 6 weeks prior come back. Arn and Tully had literally just come in. So you have two brand new teams to the brand. And how better to book this match? Shawn and Marty made the Brainbusters look like the amazing heel technical tag team they are, and the Brainbusters made the Rockers look like the new young stallions that they are. This match was fucking perfect. And I bet, there was a commercial break in this match.
Have you ever seen their 2 out of 3?
Yeah, I have it. It's on one of my Shawn Michaels DVDs. Yes.
Great.
I bet this match was 10 minutes longer than it was on TV. They do the thing where they kick Bobby out. They kick Bobby out and then they take the break. So I mean, just for the 7.5 minutes it ran on TV.
This was Arn and Tully, okay, taking a NWA match,
right,
or an NWA style whatever, and transplanting it onto WWF.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They used their formula to a T.
Arn and Tully were like, hey, this is a match we would have with the Rock and Roll Express.
Yep.
And we're going to show you WWF motherfuckers.
Well,
this is what professional wrestling is supposed to look like.
See, that rings true to what Bobby Heenan, during the interview, Bobby Heenan's talking about the Brainbusters, and Arn Anderson gets the mic and says, Bobby Heenan wanted the absolute best for his tag team in the Heenan family. So he went out and he called me and Tully. That's fucking true.
Mm-hmm.
If you want a technical tag team, if you want the best, you call Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard from 85 to 91. You know what I mean? They were the end-all, be-all of the tag team divisions, no matter where they worked. And they were interchangeable, too, because Arn then went on to make a great tag team with Bobby Eaton and with Larry Zbyszko, and was unfucking believable. And Tully Blanchard came back and was a great singles wrestler on his own as well. And
Tully Blanchard came back and said, cocaine. That's a pity. But anyway, yes.
Hey, look,
this match
doesn't take away from his body of work, though.
It absolutely does not. And this match ending in a double countout, again, where both teams were positioned at the time. Just coming in was a perfect finish.
It didn't make anybody look soft. It made them both look like we're so good we don't know how to beat each other yet.
And we have all gas-bagged about the match except Kyle. Kyle, anything to add about this match?
It's a shame that this goes on at the very end. I mean, I understand with the way that, the Saturday Night's Main Event is set up, but I mean, this really should have opened the show.
And they should have gotten 15 or 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think on a later episode they do.
Right.
But I mean, like for that crowd in there, God,
like I said, I'm pretty positive watching the body of the match.
That was about a 15 or 20 minute match that they cut down for TV.
Yeah, when they take a break in the middle, I think there was probably more action for the televised or for the non-televised crowd in the middle. So my two favorite segments, non in the ring, like arena segments in the history of primetime wrestling. Number one, everybody's got to pick Wet Weasel, right?
Right.
I mean, the WWF did a booking masterpiece with that Mr. Perfect angle with Bobby Heenan in '92, heading into the Survivor Series. A quick reaction to Warrior being gone for the umpteenth time or whatever. But anyway, second favorite to that, I love the primetime segment they showed on the show.
Gorilla gets hit. He never gets hit.
And in the weeks after it, it's great because Bobby's constantly trying to apologize to Gorilla.
I put that on here like,
all right.
Like Bobby is just like terrified the next week. He's just like, I'm so sorry.
Gorilla
like
sits down and he looks at Bobby and he says,
What's going on, Bobby is like, Bobby's like, Gino, look. I wanted to beat the fuck out of that guy.
Right.
That was my entire intention. Was to beat up Terry Taylor.
You got in the way.
but we had no intention whatsoever to have you get hit. I'm truly sorry about that.
Right. But see, to Aaron's point, the episode of Primetime the following week, Brain's sitting down already, in walks Gorilla. He sits down, he looks at Brain. So what's going on, Brain? Like, he was waiting for Bobby Heenan to start gushing. You know what I mean? He wanted to hear what he had to say.
I am extremely sorry about what happened to you.
Gorilla finally got his revenge when Bobby was finally fired and Gorilla got to throw him out the door. That was
with
Gorilla's
the toilet paper and the
hit.
such, yeah.
Yeah.
But I love that segment.
No, that was one of the better segments. I just don't understand why we had to have a main event of the Brooklyn Brawler versus the Red Rooster.
If you watch Saturday Night's Main Event back then, like Kyle was alluding to earlier, the way the show had to be structured, I think they always put, obviously they always put Hogan on early, or your main eventers on early.
Right.
And then they kind of ended with something. I don't want to demean anybody, but something cheap.
I know, because if you fell asleep, you didn't want to miss anything.
Exactly. Yes.
But I mean, I would have much rather had Randy Savage sitting in the ring going Elizabeth for like 20 minutes to end the show.
Elizabeth.
Than what we got. You know what I mean? Because that wasn't even a match.
So the Heenan promo cracks me up because he's like,
I found you're a nobody, but he's a bigger nobody.
He's bigger, yeah. I can always find a bigger and better nobody.
And Brawler just sitting there going, yep.
Yeah. I'll be your nobody, Bobby.
I got it, Bobby. Don't worry about it. Only time the Brooklyn Brawler ever spoke.
And did anybody else notice? The only other thing I want to say about them, because obviously, we've got Mean Gene interviewing the Red Rooster, and etc. But did anybody else notice that like Terry Taylor was abnormally stiff?
Yes, thank you.
Like his body Like his body language is very stiff.
No. Even
well, wouldn't you have been?
All right. During the match, he goes to run after Bobby Heenan, and his arms are glued to the side of his body, and he's running with his, and I'm like, what the fuck? Is this guy running like a rooster right now? What's he doing?
Even when he won the match, like when he pops up and he's got like his arms are like weird, like down by his.
Like, Jesus,
what the fuck
he's supposed to be a rooster.
Yeah, dude, what a cock!
I don't think anybody went to Terry. You're flailing your arms too much. That's not what a rooster would do. I don't think anybody.
I'm sure somebody did.
Now, that somebody was Vince McMahon.
I don't think we've ever
or Bruce Pritchard.
Or Bruce Pritchard, right? I don't think
somebody was like, this. "You're being too animated."
We've never talked about this. How bad must Terry Taylor have felt? They brought him in and told him, "You're going to be Mr. Perfect," and then said, "How do you feel about dyeing your hair red?"
See, I don't think they brought Terry Taylor in to be Mr. Perfect.
That's what he swears that they told him. He was going to be the Kurt Hennig.
Well, I understand what he says.
Right, but I'm saying in his delusional world, you went from you're going to catch a towel behind your back. You're going to throw yourself a football touchdown pass. You're going to make a 3-pointer. You're going to hit a home run with Wade Boggs. But then a month later, before you debut, dye your hair red and put on this sparkly jacket.
Because we've signed Kurt motherfucking Hennig.
Who's better than you and everybody else on the roster right now.
Yes.
I mean.
But yeah, that was super awkward for Mr. Taylor there. But okay.
Like I said, my only complaint about the whole show was how many non-finishes there were. The only match we got an actual finish to was Ted DiBiase versus the Blue Blazer. Everything else seemed like a disqualification or a count-out.
And then at the end of it, Randy Savage just loses his mind in a fucking bathroom.
Yeah, you could tell it wasn't a dressing room. You see the sinks, you see the men's toilet door.
He just loses his mind in a shitter. He's like, why is he in a shitter?
He was constipated from all the coke he was doing.
Like, why does the Macho Man have to be in a bathroom?
Because that was supposed to be his dressing room.
It was a shitter.
Oh, yeah, I know that. You know that. It's not like it is now where they just make a petition around a small little area and that's their dressing room. But
and that was the end of the show. And I want to say, Archie, good pull on this show. This was a good show to go back and watch.
You said Saturday night's main event, and I knew I didn't want to go to like the newer ones that they've done recently in the last few years. And I looked at the different cards, and I was like, this one is stacked. We get Hogan, Savage, Bad News Brown, The Rockers, Tully Blanchard, and Arn Anderson. Why not?
Why not? Absolutely.
Randy Savage blows ass in the fucking
Elizabeth
shitter at the end.
Elizabeth.
Bad News Brown is in the stall with him. I told you she was messing with Tony.
I got
Macho
Bad News Brown.
I was just about to say Macho.
Poking out.
Somebody's baking brownies, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Somebody's baking Bad News brownies.
Now, Nate, we have a guy who does Savage Sundays and does a Savage impression. You just blew him out of the water. Why have you never done your Savage impression, Nate?
Maybe I'm not an attention hog. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like maybe it's not a thing. It's cosmic. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know what's one of the funniest things Savage ever did, and it's not Savage. It's McMahon.
Mm-hmm.
It's unintentional. He doesn't even realize he's SummerSlam '94. Aaron and I have discussed this before.
It's the thing in the ring.
Yeah. So Hogan, it was that time where Vince was trying to diminish Savage as a wrestler. So he's got him as like the master of fucking ceremonies or whatever. So, it's SummerSlam '94. We're in Chicago. It's the first show in the new arena.
We're gonna do the thing in the ring.
Savage comes to the ring, and he tells McMahon, because McMahon's like, "Here's the master of ceremonies for SummerSlam, the Macho Man." Macho Man comes past comes past McMahon and Lawler, and he goes, "Vince McMahon, I'm gonna go do the thing in the ring." Yeah.
And Vince McMahon's like,
Vince McMahon goes,
in the thing.
Vince McMahon goes, "I'm gonna do the Macho Man's going up there to do the thing in the thing."
In the thing.
The thing in the thing. Slip of the tongue.
Thing.
All right,
in
so
the thing.
This is our podcast, so I could ask you guys a question and get your real opinion. Kyle's internet shit the bed, so
yes, it did.
The whole taboo subject of did Macho Man sleep with a young Stephanie McMahon? Not young, but like in her early 20s.
Okay.
Do we believe
She just turned 45?
Yeah.
Didn't she?
Yeah, so she would have been about 19 or 20 years old when all that went on.
He didn't fuck her. She was too old for Memphis people.
We're not talking about the seesaws in Memphis, Jerry.
Randy was a Memphis guy. She was too old.
I think there are a lot of conspiracy theories in wrestling.
Right.
And wrestling is, at its root, fake.
Right.
Fixed.
Right.
When somebody does a shoot interview, whether it's Kevin Nash, Abdullah the Butcher, obviously Hulk Hogan, whether we think it's real or not, even me and Aaron, when we sit down with Chad Austin, our buddy, every single week, there's a 50-50 chance he is working us on everything he says.
Right.
Because they're wrestlers, and that's what they do.
Of course. They have to defy the odds that you believe what they're saying.
Why do I believe... Maybe not that Randy Savage banged Stephanie McMahon.
I think she came on to him, in all honesty.
And that could be too. But why do I believe there is substance to the Randy Savage, Stephanie McMahon story? And here's why. Bruno Sammartino went on Phil Donahue.
Right.
Went in every newspaper in the country.
Yep.
Went on every news channel in the country and said Vince McMahon should be killed.
Yep.
He made wrestling into a cartoon. He's a fucking fucker.
2 times.
Yeah, he's a fucking a fucker. He's a fucking a fucker, right. Okay? All right. Hall of Fame while he's alive.
Yep.
Hulk Hogan.
Steroid trial.
Went before the grand jury.
Yep.
Testified against Vince McMahon. And then went to Vince McMahon's number one competition and said, we're going to put this motherfucker out of business. Yeah. Randy Savage stayed with Vince McMahon when audiences were at their very lowest.
Yep.
Ratings were at their very lowest. Their show was emanating from arenas that looked like they were in a goddamn boiler room.
Yep.
Because he was getting that sweet, sweet young food.
Randy Savage was more loyal to Vince McMahon than anybody but Triple H.
Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker as well.
No, yeah. Shawn Michaels dicked Vince McMahon around every single day. All right, I'll give you Undertaker. Undertaker and Triple H. Other than Taker and Trips.
Right. Randy
pre-Vince being a monopoly.
Are you saying Undertaker fucked a young Stephanie McMahon?
No. Listen to my point. Listen.
He was like, dong.
Dong. Are you done? Pre-Vince owns everything.
Right.
Other than Undertaker and Triple H. Other than Savage, who's more loyal?
No, I agree.
And not a pain in the ass.
Right.
I'm taking a long time to make this point, but Archie,
I was going to say Pat Patterson,
No,
but he was a pain in the ass for some people.
Definitely.
no, they were a pain in his ass, and he liked it. But
Right.
Well, I was just saying he put his P in their B.
you're muddying up the waters.
He was muttering. He was muddying up their waters too.
Yes, something happened with Randy Savage and Stephanie McMahon because there's no other reason for his treatment. There's no other reason for his treatment.
If you look back at the Hall of Fame induction when Lanny Poffo, Randy's brother, induction,
maybe he showed her his dick.
He says that life is too short and we need to let go of hostilities. I think that was directed towards Vince McMahon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think he meant that you're still mad at my brother, which again, I don't think that it had anything to do with Macho Man bothering Stephanie. I think Stephanie came on to Macho Man, and
I don't even necessarily want to say, and
Man came on Linda.
I don't even necessarily want to say that anything happened.
I love for the fact that after Aaron made that comment, he turned and looked at your screen, and it looked like he was, even though your screen is black, it looked like he was looking at you for a reaction, and you weren't there.
Complete silence.
I don't think the Macho Man fucked Stephanie McMahon.
No, I don't think that there was anything sexual, but I do think that she was trying to do something with him. He maybe said no. And he might have even went to Vince and said, "Hey, your daughter, look, brother, your daughter is coming on to me and
trying to snap into my Slim Jim."
Right. And Vince is like, "You know what, Randy? I think we have to let you go to WCW." And Randy's like, "That's fine. I'll take Slim Jim with me, bitch."
There was I don't know, and I don't even know if I subscribe to that, Archie. I don't even know if it was Stephanie being the instigator. In that, I don't know if I really think that something happened. Whether I won't elaborate on all that, but something was there for everything that all these other guys did to Vince over the years.
The Warrior, the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, this is the one guy that we're not going to induct him until he dies.
Right.
Until after he's dead. Something fucking happened.
We didn't even do it the year that he died. We made him wait 2 more years after he died.
Anybody that thinks something didn't happen is fucking stupid because the evidence proves everything to the contrary. Everything to the contrary.
I have a feeling that Nate thinks the Macho Man raped Vince McMahon.
No.
If it's not Stephanie,
Vince is like, we can't let him in the Hall of Fame. We can't let him in the Hall of Fame. Why, Vince? The guy raped me. He raped me.
Show us on the Macho Man Buddy where the man tried to catch you, Vince.
He was a genetic jackhammer.
No, if it wasn't Stephanie,
I tried to tell him, you can't work with Crush, and he was like, "Grr. Eat the pillow, Vince."
If it wasn't Stephanie coming on to Macho Man or Macho Man coming on to Stephanie, then I think somebody might have tried.
Then somebody was coming on Vince, and it was probably the Macho Man. I think the Macho Man raped Vince McMahon.
Look what you did, Mitchell. Look what you fucking did, Mitchell.
Well, then you need to back me up and send me
I'm
out
gonna
again.
write a story
Oh, God.
that the Macho Man Randy Savage raped Vince McMahon.
When you finish it, come on 60 Minutes or Less, and I'll gladly let you say it.
Oh, I'll tell you the entire story.
Stay
But
tuned.
no, if Macho Man or Stephanie didn't initiate it, someone stooged Randy out to make it look like it was happening to get him fired. I don't know who, but there was reasons that somebody wanted Randy out of WWE.
It was Bushwhacker Luke.
Yes,
I think Bushwhacker Luke witnessed the Macho Man Randy Savage,
and he was like, "Whoa,
whoa!" Like, Like,
and then Butch
he walked.
Butch
He
came
walked
in and was like,
into-
"Yeah."
I think
Aaron can't even say a sentence.
I think Bushwhacker Luke
Smells like sardines in here, mate.
I think Bushwhacker Luke walked into the kayfabe lounge and found the Macho Man Randy Savage forcibly butt fucking Vince McMahon and was like, whoa. And Butch was like, no.
Pat Patterson was like,
And then they were
next.
just like, yeah.
Randy
and
was
they
like,
just
I
left.
had lust in my eyes, brother.
Like, the only reason Vince McMahon wouldn't let Macho Man in the Hall of Fame is because he bucked.
All right, so we have to rename the show Murder. No, Kill Yourself, Joey Ryan. Rape featuring
Saturday Night's Main Event.
Yeah.
Nate, I guarantee you, David Gold will listen to this episode, message you after it, and be like, "Did you really have to talk about the Bushwhackers?"
What the fuck, dude?
What the fuck?
Are the Bushwhackers even still alive?
Yes.
Yes.
The one that we had on, Bushwhacker Luke, is healthy and fine. Butch is in New Zealand and not doing too well.
Because of what he witnessed.
Yes. He's lived with that too long.
He can't even hold it in anymore.
But apparently neither could Vince, so then.
Whoa.
Whoa.
All right, we've hit a bad patch.
Watching that,
We have. We are going to sign off.
mate. Watching the McMayonnaise.
Oh my God.
I did not need to see that, mate.
We've all officially one up each other tonight. The jokes. I missed you guys, though.
When he was done with it, mate, I didn't think he wanted to do it, and I looked at him, and I looked at him, and we looked at it in our eyes, and it was just macho sadness. Because of what he did.
Why did you ruin it?
We both agreed never to lick Randy or Vince's heads after that ever again.
And then we just threw our little mate Jameson in there and left.
And he was like, "Did I do that?"
Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, this descended quickly. Thanks for asking a serious question, Archie, because it's never going to get answered seriously around here.
Never. I was expecting
Macho Man, great Vince McMahon,
The
Bushwhackers witnessed it,
were
and then
involved.
Jameson laid around in the fucking whatever berth.
And after everything was done, Bobby Heenan said, "Get your shoe, dummy."
Ladies and gentlemen,
Goodbye, everybody.
Next week we'll be reviewing Judgment Day 2002.
I don't know if we're going to top this shit.
No, we definitely ain't.
Go to bed.
We'll see you next week
Good
on the
night,
We Can't
everybody.
Wrestle podcast.
Dig it.